says the stream is live.
Yeah, I know. So maybe this is it. How do I watch it? It says it's live?
On my side, yeah, it has a little red thing
Yeah.
says live.
Let's see if people come in.
Okay.
Because I'm looking at it through StreamYard.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Right?
looking through too. It says StreamYard.
Let me see here. Let me see. Um. Hey, we're here.
We're on?
Okay.
Okay.
And nice. And
can you see comments? I think
I don't know yet.
I think I had to connect on my side, so that I just did. So I see on the comments over here, I see Corn Freak, and I was just actually typing in. Maybe she can help too. I'm telling her that we are trying to figure out how to do this.
Okay.
There we go. Okay, so it says on my. Go ahead.
I got it like an echo. Let me test. Yeah, I'm frozen. Do I look like I'm moving?
No, you're frozen on my end too. Yeah, you're frozen. Technical difficulties, but I'm a terrible streamer. Okay, now I can hear you.
Okay.
But you're still not moving. You're still frozen.
All right. Okay. getting there.
Getting somewhere. Oh, there you go. Now you're moving. Oh, now you're gone. This is some confusing stuff. Okay.
Yeah, okay. I got it figured out now. How's it look?
It looks good now. Now you're moving. I can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, this is cool. Yep, I
Okay.
got it figured out. Thank you for your patience.
No
Unbelievable.
problem. No problem.
But you
No
know
problem.
what? That's how we get it done.
That's
Thanks.
exactly. That's how we all figure it out together as a team.
Yep. Hey, I'll always remember it now.
Yeah. Right.
With you. We figured it out.
Yeah.
Well, let me
Exactly.
catch up on some of these comments here. Let me get my
Okay.
camera fixed. All right, Corn Freak. Hey, what's up? It's good to see you. Nice surprise. Yeah. Hey, that's cool. You listen to Network. I do the same thing all the time,
Yeah.
and it's real cool to do. We figured it out. Yay!
All right. We got it.
Cool.
Nice.
All right. So, how do we know how many people are in the room?
Yeah, that's what
I
I'm
can't
trying
see
to
that.
see too. Neither can I. I'm only seeing corn, and that's it. Corn freak, and that's it.
Okay. Okay. So, from what I understand, like the majority of views are after the live.
Yeah.
You know, like after it simmers for a day or whatever.
Yeah.
Then the first initial live might be a low. I'm learning as I go.
Yeah. Me too. Me too. Because I have one
Yeah.
live stream I did. I had like over almost 1,000 views.
Nice.
Yeah, and then I have others that only have like 10,
Yeah.
20.
Yep. Yep.
You know, that is what it is.
That's how
That's
it
how it
goes.
goes. That's how it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hey, so here's one of the reasons why I'm doing this interview and why I want to do more interviews like this. So I want the audience to know the other people in this. I consider it a great community.
Me
I think
too.
it's a very precious community that we have
Yes.
to protect.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And yeah, so especially those who have not been involved with this cult of Scientology,
Right.
I want to interview those people.
Right.
They have not been involved, but they're aiding in their own ways to, stop the abuse and receive justice.
Yeah.
And hearing from these people, and we're all different. I
Yeah.
want to hear your point of view so you can tell the community who you are
Okay.
and why it is that you help us. And I kind of separated it in question form. I got a few questions,
Sure. Sure.
Uh, you're in charge, so if you don't want to talk about something, just say it. No
Okay.
problem. Yeah, and say whatever you like too. Feel free.
Cool. Cool.
So, do you want to tell us actually a little bit about yourself, the people who
Sure.
haven't met you?
Sure. For everybody that hasn't met me, I live on Long Island, New York. I was born here and raised in Florida as a small child in Clearwater, and moved back here when I was 1989. We moved back here to New York,
Mm.
and I grew up in Hacienda Gardens on Saturn Street in Clearwater.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, both of us were born in 75, right?
yeah, yep. I
Yeah.
was born in '75,
Yeah.
right in the smack middle
Good
of Gen
time.
X. Yep, very good
Yep.
time.
Yep. Right, exactly. And we witnessed a lot.
Yeah, a
But
lot.
I'm going off the trail.
Yeah, yeah. So,
My brain will tend to go off rabbit trails, and I'll go over here and here, but
yeah,
I'll
me
try to
too.
keep it on topic.
Yeah, me too.
It's
I
all
tend
good.
to vendor off talking about one thing and then go
Yeah.
off to another whole nother subject.
Hey, it's all good.
Yeah, that's the way it is. But yeah, I had a lot of experiences with church Scientology.
Wow, I
Uh,
did not know that.
yes. Yep. I was born. Corn was
Wow.
born in '74. So
Can you say it again?
Corn Freak was born in '74. She just
Oh
posted
yeah, yep. Hey man, Gen X.
Gen X. So, but yeah, I've had
We're witnessing so much.
my fair share of experiences with the Church of Scientology,
Wow.
starting at
So
super young age.
really, nearly. Okay. I
Yeah,
had no idea.
they had already lived in Hacienda Gardens by the time we even moved there. They were already there.
Yep.
We just did. No one knew. No one knew what it was about. I remember a kid in our neighborhood. We remember asking him, how come you don't go to the school we go to? And we were told he went to like a private military academy. And
oh
it wasn't. Now we
my
know. Now we
God.
know. Back then we had no clue. And
A private military. Wow. That's
yeah,
hilarious.
yeah, that is pretty funny. So, and he would leave. I remember him leaving in a uniform. Like I was very young, so we remember him leaving, and we weren't too fond of him in the neighborhood as far as kids wise.
Yeah.
We
What,
weren't.
was he kind of like a prick? Was he like a
Yeah,
stuck up
he was
or?
a real prick. He beat up my brother
Yeah.
one day.
Oh, dude, that's yeah.
Yeah, I threw a rock at his head.
Hey,
I
dude, this
was
is
a
how Gen X's work, man. This is how Gen X's work.
They're
We got
talking
it
in the
from our
80s.
forefathers. What are you gonna say?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And back then, it was like, well, hey, you hit my kid, his sister hit you. So what are you gonna
Yeah,
do?
yeah, exactly.
His mother made a
It's
big
true.
deal. Of course.
Of
There were
course.
a few kids in the neighborhood that I remember. Um, Other kids, like friends that I hung around with, would turn around and be like, "Oh, yo, go over there. You were friends with that kid over there. Now go punch him in the face."
Dude, that's crazy. You know what? One of the most guilty things I ever did in my life. It's funny. I thought I was the only one, right? One of the most guilty things I ever had to do in my life. And I've actually went to the person's house and asked for forgiveness, like
Aw.
years later.
Yeah,
Years
right.
later.
Right.
Is he was my friend,
Right.
good friend. I was about 11 or 12.
Okay.
And some neighbors, rival friends, right? Rivals were like trying to hang out with me and they were like, "Hey, punch your friend in the stomach."
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, I was so gullible and I was like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, me too.
And
Me
dude,
too.
it was so horrible, man. I felt so bad.
I know.
And
I felt guilty
it
for
was
you.
one of the worst things I ever did. It's funny.
Yeah. Yeah. It
Hurting
is.
people's feelings to me is like one of the worst things.
Yeah, because like we
You
know how
know?
it is to be hurt.
Yeah,
And when you
exactly.
hurt
Yeah.
someone else, I feel like it hurts us. It hurts you even more when you hurt someone else.
Hey, oh, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That conscious
Yeah.
comes in and
Yeah. Yeah, it does. It definitely does. It's
yep.
But yeah, growing up in that neighborhood, my father left us for quite some time when I was about
Okay.
7 going on 8 years old, and he came back here to New York and left us in Florida. Me and my mom and
Oh
Claire,
boy.
and yeah, in Hacienda
Was
Gardens.
he a was he a Scientologist or
No, he well, we I the problem with that is I haven't spoken or seen my family in like 25 years. And
wow.
they live a few towns away. We just
Is it
we're
yeah.
better off that way. Just
Sure. No, I get that.
Yeah, we're
Sometimes it's
better
the
off.
way it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Does it have to do at all with Scientology?
I personally strongly feel yes. Yes.
Okay, yeah, sure. Because the disconnection is disconnection. And
Exactly.
they're gonna do
Exactly.
it covertly or overtly, however they're gonna do it.
Right. And the things that I experienced having to deal with my family as a teenager were pretty
Oh
hard.
man.
Yeah,
Yeah, forget that. Yeah. I
my
get it.
father would sit across the table from me screaming, "You fuck, you effing cunt, you this," throwing shit at me. It was rough.
Unreal.
It was rough. Like I was like, what the hell is this? Why, what is
Yeah.
this going on? So there was and then by the time I hit 18, I was like, I'm out of here. I can't live like this. Emotionally, I couldn't do it. And my
Where did you
family,
grow up? Where were
yeah,
you? And this is in Florida?
no, this was when we came back here. By the time I was 18, I was back
New York.
here. We had already
Okay.
been
Yeah.
here for quite a few years. And growing up here on the island as a teenager was even rough too. I used to get the shit kicked out of me by just your friends. Thinking it's funny and it's fighting with this.
It's messed up, man. Yeah.
Yeah,
I've gotten a flavor of that in Boston.
in
You
Boston,
learn
yeah,
how to survive. All through elementary school and middle school, I'd be getting fights all the time.
yeah,
And you know, high school though, I was like, nah, this pond's too deep for me.
yeah,
There were some big kids there. I was like, I'm not going to screw around at all.
yeah, exactly. And then once you hit that
But
certain grade, like once you're in 11th and 12th, you're good because now you're the
yeah,
boss.
yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah, it's kind of the same way it was here. People, rough crowd though, I gotta say. But like I said, I moved on from it, and I in 2016, a lot of the friends that I had still gotten connected back with after so many years, ended up a lot of them I had no idea were addicted to opiates.
Oh boy, yeah.
In
I've
2016,
never known anybody.
I
No, I've
buried
never known
11
anybody
friends.
addicted. I apologize.
That's okay. That's okay. Yeah, heroin is not opiates alone is it's an atrocious addiction. It really is because it's
I've never witnessed it.
no,
Yeah,
you're lucky, seriously,
yeah,
because it's a
yeah.
physical addiction. It's not a mental addiction where you
Those
can.
are the worst.
That's what it
Those
is.
are the
It's
worst,
physical.
man. I
Yeah,
was I did quit cigarettes, but that took forget about it. That took a million attempts.
yeah, me too.
And yeah, I can tell you how I quit. Not if it works, it works. If you want to quit,
Yeah, yeah,
I'm not even going to say it if you don't want to quit. Because
yeah. I'm trying to quit now. It's
I
rough.
loved the cigarettes. When I smoked, I loved it.
Yeah,
It would give me this little peace of mind, and it was good for my brain.
yeah,
But
right,
the money, and now that I'm gonna close to 50, it had to go. And
yeah.
I couldn't have done it though without my wife and help.
That's
But
great.
one way I
That's
did it,
great.
real briefly, I guess, because this might be useful for anybody else,
Yeah, right. Exactly.
is it was a serious struggle for me. Like, I'm an addictive personality. I love my shit. I love my routines. I like my little getaways, whatever you have to do. And so to get off cigarettes was insane.
Right.
I'd go cold turkey over 100 times and it wouldn't work, despite being like, I'm going to do it this time. And then
Right.
next day you fail. So I tried the patch. That didn't work because I had the fixation still.
Yep.
So this is what I did. And it's really simple. I went to the vape, but
Okay.
I got a nice vape, not something like mega, you can do whatever you want, but I got a vape. And when you can go to the store where they get refills, not one of the cheap ones at the gas station.
Okay.
None of that shit. But you have to go to like True Leaf or like some of these places that specialize in vapes.
Okay.
And you'll get a sweet pen, and real nice, and the flavors are really good. My favorite was vanilla bourbon,
Okay.
and the nicotine levels are even higher if you want it to be even higher than what you do. You
Yeah.
can adjust the nicotine levels, and it would give you your fix. You'd be like, "Oh, I need a cigarette," and you just puffing this, your smoke is coming out, and you're like,
Hmm.
"Hey, this is satisfying."
Yeah.
To
Exactly.
get to the Yeah, right, but to get to the point is you're weaning off of all those hundreds of chemicals
Yeah.
that are put into a cigarette,
Right.
which is unfortunate, but it's chemically engineered to do its best job to keep us, you know? And the vape only has 4 ingredients.
Okay.
It has the nicotine, which is not cancerous, by the way. Nicotine is not cancerous. It's the chemical compounds that make it cancerous.
Right.
Cigarettes. I didn't know that until, last year. So you get off all of these. It has a nicotine, glycol, glycerin, and water, and probably some flavor. It's like 5 ingredients.
Okay.
And you're going to get yourself weaned off the cigarette. And then I did it for 9 months, and I did it intensely too.
Oh,
I
okay.
was just, whenever I wanted to hit that thing, I did it. Because
Right.
I'm getting off cigarettes, so I'm like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah,
It
I
gives me
got
my fix and calms me down. Then after 9 months, whatever just came into my head, I felt like it was the right time. I used the patch.
okay.
Now the patch is not battling all those chemicals. It's just battling nicotine.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying.
So then I could start getting used to not having it in my hand, getting away
Right.
from it. And patches do give you a punch. Patches have nicotine in them. You'll feel it,
Right.
especially if you're in that stage of quitting. But that worked for me. For me to quit is insane. So,
Yeah.
okay, I've been quit now for probably a few years now. So
Good for you. Congratulations.
I don't know
That's
how I did
huge.
it. Yeah. But and
Hey, it's tough.
anyway, that's my spiel on how to quit.
Nice.
But hey, man.
I'm working with Long Island, New York Quits. It's called.
Oh, nice.
So it's actually gotten me to slow down because
Yep.
there's also a therapy they do with you here in New York. There's a
Mm.
whole therapy thing that I do. I do it on the Zoom, and so far so good. Like she said, the woman that I work with, she said you got to get through the mental stuff first, then
Oh, hell
worry
yeah.
about completely dropping these.
Yeah. The mental
she
part
just,
was very hard.
yep. She said the hardest thing too is this. This is what
Yeah.
causes your mental addiction as you doing this with the cigarette.
I at work, I'll chew on hot tamales or Mike and Ike's. I've always had something.
Yeah, something. Yeah, I hear you. Oh, I understand.
Yeah.
I quit for a very long time and made the worst mistake and went back after having a big giant Italian meal at a huge restaurant on Long Island.
Oh, oh,
And my
man,
brother
you're
was
making me hungry.
outside smoking, and I'm like, "Yo, let me get one of them." And he's like, "Okay." I was like,
I started in high school
mm-hmm.
because at 16, we'd get high, we'd smoke a joint or something, and then we'd smoke a menthol. And
Yeah,
then we'd be like, wow, it's really increased it,
increased your high by
and that's
10%.
how we started.
Yep.
And
See,
then we
it's
just
so
got used
funny.
to it.
You know what the funny thing is most Gen Xers have the exact same experiences and during the Gen X era.
That's pretty
Like you're
funny.
saying with your school stuff, I experienced that too, and I'm in a totally different
Yeah.
state. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
so
yeah.
amazing.
Oh yeah, well, did you party at the train tracks though?
Oh God, yeah, the train tracks,
Oh, I
the
did. That was dope.
overpass, the
That was
overpass.
overpass. Oh shit.
Yeah, oh yeah, heck yeah. Hung out at a deli. We hung out at handball courts. We played handball here. It was very popular here. It was handball. I think down in Florida they call it wall ball, where you hit the
I
ball with
would
your
love to try handball, but somebody
tough
who's
sport.
like my same level.
Yeah, it's a tough sport.
That would be
It
fun.
is. We got really good
I
at
could
it
use
as
it.
teenagers.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, we really
All
liked
right,
it.
so hey, I wanted to ask you. See, I didn't know they had such an experience with Scientology, and because I saw you that one day, I was like, I got to talk to her. But I want to ask, like, what is it that got your attention to the Scientology like abuses?
What got
Um,
my attention? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
yeah, yeah.
So what got my attention is back in '96, I started to have what you call like flashbacks. I started to remember a lot of stuff I had experienced as a child
Oh,
growing up.
wow. And what
And
year?
this I started remembering things in 1996.
Okay. Wow.
And I kind of was pushing it away because I was young. I was only 22.
Yep.
So I was trying to, battle it out basically in my own head. And I came to terms with I needed to find the truth. And I need to see for myself what I remember, basically battling it out in my own head mentally.
Wow.
And it was
Yeah.
stressful. So I bought a ticket and went back to Clearwater.
Wow.
Yeah. And I had some intentions in mind, being that, when I was remembering this, and I'm going to be honest, it has a lot to do with sexual abuse.
Sure. Well, that's very important to talk about.
Yeah.
And the
I'm
more
just
light we can
finally
shine on it, but
right.
it's very difficult to talk about. So it's the
Yeah,
ball's in your court.
it is hard. It is very hard.
Yeah.
I'm actually able now to say it, whereas way back when I wasn't.
Yeah.
I was not
Yeah.
even able to even, I wanted to forget all about it and just make
Man.
believe it wasn't
Man.
true, but it was,
It's
unfortunately.
really, yeah, I'm sorry that happened to you, man. That's
Yeah. So when I
hard.
went back in 96, of course, I went right back over by Hacienda Gardens, and you can't go in there because it was gated off like a concentration camp,
Oh,
basically. And as I was sitting by the ball field on one of the benches over there. I was just sitting there with my backpack. I had just gotten off the flight, and I cruised all the way up from Tampa Airport, got up to um, the beginning, I believe, of Druid Street, and a cop stopped me and actually drove me completely into Clearwater.
oh,
And
wow.
I told him right where to drop me off right by the 7-Eleven that was over by Hacienda back then. And that's when I started wandering around. I started meeting people. I was homeless. So I was just kind of
Wow.
wandering around. And now I'm
Right.
wandering around the streets with this on my mind as to what I had experienced as a child. And here I am back in my
Yeah.
own old neighborhood, where my
Yep.
intentions were not good, to be honest with you, as to why I was there. I was so built
Gotcha.
up with anger
You had
and
some rage. You had some,
rage, and I was just like, I was ready to explode. I
yeah, it
caught,
sounds like some rage. Yeah.
yeah, I did. I found a
Yeah.
group. It was there was a place called the Serenity Club.
Hey, do you mind if I just say something?
Sure.
I just think that's an important detail. I like details, and I like to focus on details because they can be overlooked. But
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
fact that you were in rage, you were at a point of doing something dangerous. I'm not going to ask what unless you feel like talking about it. But like you said, you were so angry and you didn't have the best intentions.
No,
It's
I
like
did not.
that's a life ruiner.
Yes.
That's not a happy person.
No, it would
You
have
know that
destroyed me.
Yeah, this sexual abuse and the Scientology abuse. This is
It's
just another example
yeah,
of one of
yeah,
the details.
yeah, of what it
And
really
they don't
does.
fix it.
Yeah, and there's
Yeah.
like, so when I was bound, I got into this Serenity Club where they had AA, NA meetings, things like that, and you can hang out there all day long if you wanted. So there was
That's
multiple
cool. Yeah.
meetings, so it was really nice. I was like, oh wow, this is great. Let me get into this. So I started hanging around, meeting people, connecting with old friends I even
Awesome.
grew up with back in
Oh,
Clear
that's nice. Yeah.
that didn't end up in Scientology, which was great. Um, I stayed down there for about 6 months while I was down there. With my intentions were only be there, go there, do something, and flee back to Long Island. That's how my young mind was thinking.
Yep. Yep.
So I was, and I'm not gonna lie, my intentions were to completely blow up Hacienda Gardens.
Yeah.
That's what I
Okay.
was gonna do. And like I said,
Yeah.
it would have
Hey,
destroyed my life.
that's a really, to me, I think the audience should know too, is like, do you see that extreme level? You know, wow,
Yeah.
it's pretty serious.
Yep.
And that was created by Scientology. Am I
Exactly.
correct?
Yes.
It's,
Yes. I saw those same disgusting grown men that did things to me as a child. I saw them on Fort Harris,
oh, God.
right there on the Fort Harris. Do you
God.
know that I had to sit on the bench across from it and sit on my hands, or I was going to do something.
Oh,
And
my
I
God.
was
Yeah.
I was like, I was so angry. I was also scared. So I
Oh, yeah.
started kind of
Yep.
like mentally trying to basically um break myself out of that. Like I had learned some things here in therapy as a young kid, but I was in
Yep.
so much denial that young being in therapy, it wasn't working for me. It was not doing the
Okay.
trick.
Yeah. Yeah. I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Basically,
Yep.
I was
I did
forced.
the same shit too. You know, when I got my first diagnosis of schizoid, I was like, well, schizoid, what the fuck's that? Like, I didn't want to accept it, you
Right,
know?
right,
Well,
right,
schizoid just happens to be an early sign of schizophrenia. So I do
right.
have schizophrenia. It was
Yeah,
later
so do I.
revealed, just to clear it up. Oh,
Yeah,
you
I
do?
have.
All
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
See,
I
you know
have.
what's funny?
Go ahead.
Go ahead, please.
I have a paranoid schizoaffective disorder.
Oh my
I
God, I
have,
have schizoaffective as well.
yep, and I'm
You know that,
PTSD.
right?
Yes,
Wow. Hey,
PTSD.
I want to just prove something right here for myself and for anybody else, right?
Yeah.
As a person who's neurodivergent,
Okay.
I can pinpoint neurodivergent people like this.
Yep.
And dude, when I saw you, I was connected. Boom.
Yeah.
You saw me. I was in your chat for 10 minutes.
Yep.
Only because I couldn't type anything. I had to wait 10 minutes.
Oh yeah,
And
I got a lot of
yeah, yeah.
trolls in
But
there.
that
So
was all good. No, that's all good. But I was just like, I was waiting and listening. And it's funny right there. I was like, hey, I want to do an interview with you. And you're my first
yeah,
interview. So
I've
it's funny,
watched
man.
plenty of your videos where I was like, wow, I could connect with him. He's
Oh, that's
I
cool. I really appreciate
understand. I
that.
understand what you're saying. That's like when
Wow. Yeah.
watch a lot of the ex Scientologies. When I watch some of their videos, I'm like, I know, and I'm typing in there, I know I had this experience too. And I feel like it gets so overlooked. And I get it. I wasn't in Scientology, so I didn't experience all of the craziness. But when I
You
was
got a
in,
different version though. You got a whole different flavor of
yes,
crazy. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
My craziness.
Not one that I would want. Not one that I would want. It almost makes it what I went through sound, kind of easy. Really, I'm so sorry for what you've been through.
It's
I
okay.
know it's
And
been a
then
long time.
in '96, while I was down there, so I had run into a woman that came to the Serenity Club for an AA or an NA meeting, and she seemed normal. She had a 3-year-old little boy, and she had said that she had just gotten a house, and she needed
Mm.
help repairing it. And I had a lot of experiences with carpentry. Excuse me, I went to a trade school here on Long Island,
Nice,
so
nice.
I basically knew your basic
Hey,
stuff.
remember this saying? I interrupt. I'm sorry. Do you remember the
No, it's good.
saying? My dad used to say it. A trade is as good as a college education.
There
He
you
used to say
go.
that to me all the time.
Yep.
And it's true. I never got
Yeah.
into a trade, but I should have.
So while I was with this woman, the deal was I do work on her house, paintings, doing this, doing that, helping do the floor, whatever, and then I could stay there with her. So I had a roof over my head. Okay, which to me is fine
That's
because
cool.
that was actually explained to me in trade school that jobs like that can occur. You'll get
Yep.
somebody who'll give you room and board and you can work in their home or do whatever type
That's
of
pretty
work
awesome.
they need.
Yeah.
So to me, it was
Pretty nice.
great. Couple months in, I'm working on the house. I was also working for Meineke in Newport Richey. So I was traveling back and forth, Clearwater, Newport Richey, and then going at night and working on her house and then sleeping and then going back. on days I had off, I spend the day there with her and her son. I also was babysitting him too. She came up to me one day and she said, "Listen, there's a movie going on. I want you to come with me." I was like,
wow.
"Okay."
Huh.
It was right across from the Fort Harris Hotel, and it was Dianetics. It was Scientology.
Oh shit.
It was their
Yeah.
official movie thing where they try to
Yeah,
get
orientation. I was
exactly.
on staff when that came out. I was
Oh,
brand new on staff when the Golden Age of Tech came out. I
okay.
was there for that whole evolution, but I was brand new. And also when the orientation film came out, I was brand new.
Okay.
And I remember the whole evolution on staff and like, hey, here we go, a new film. We have to make the theater room. Um, I'm a collector of things. I used to be more of a collector, but
Okay.
I had the original orientation ticket. I wish I kept it just because I'm a collector, but it was all white and it was big. And I was like, I'm going to keep this.
Yeah.
And of course I did.
Right.
But
Right.
anyway, yeah, I'm just saying, yeah, I remember. I remember that
Yep.
film. Yep. I had to
So
body route people for that all the time.
wow. Yeah,
Yep.
you probably saw me there.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was,
You know, I had to get him off the street. And
yeah.
it'd be good days and bad,
Yes.
you
Yes.
know.
So while I was there watching it, now I also have ADHD, so my
Yeah, me too.
attention span
Me too.
goes off to another direction. So they're playing this movie, and if I'm not interested in it, I'm not gonna watch it.
Exactly. See ya.
I'm not
Yeah,
paying
I'm
attention.
thinking of something else.
Right. So, and
Yeah.
she kept telling me, just sit here, relax. I was like, I want to go over there and do. And she's like, no, 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 just sit and watch, sit and watch. And I'm like, okay. I'm like this, looking around. I'm looking down at the floor. I'm like this. I'm all
Yeah,
over the
right.
place. I wasn't into
Yeah.
it. Afterwards, people were coming up to me going, "What'd you think? What'd you think?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, it was
Uh,
good." Mentally,
it's
in
pretty
my head,
creepy, right?
I had no clue what the hell was going on in the movie.
It's pretty creepy. Like they want your blood so bad. They want your money so
Yes,
bad. They
uh,
want you as a statistic. You are a statistic. And they're
exactly.
like, "Hi, how are you?" And I could do it right now and act like a really good Scientologist and reg you for your next course and be all
Right,
friendly and nice. We drill that. I don't know if you know
right.
that, but we freaking drill it like with
Oh,
another
I
staff
know,
member.
because
And it's ridiculous, dude.
she had others come to her house, but they were in plain clothes, so you didn't really think that they were Scientologists. I thought they
Yeah,
were just
yeah.
people she knew, and I was never made any connection until a couple of weeks later when
Ah.
she brought me into the Fort Harris Hotel. I've been inside. So I know what it looks like. You go in, you're up the stairs, look down below, you got a big, huge, beautiful swimming pool. I'm a
Yep.
swimmer. Oh man, wow, you got a pool in here, chandeliers. And I mean, in my young mind, I'm going, dude, I could swing from that chandelier and go right into that pool. Oh man,
Yeah.
that's how my
Hey,
crazy young
yeah,
mind was
yeah.
thinking.
Well,
So,
temptations, and they know how to do it. There's a whole science on, um, you know, manipulating somebody or getting to convince somebody.
that's the
Yeah.
thing too. Right now, when her son was 3 years old and he was locked in one of those rooms in that hotel, and I
Oh
can
shit!
hear
Wait a minute.
him.
Wait. You said he's 3?
Yeah, he was three or
He was
four. He
locked
was
in a
very
room.
young. He was very young. He's a little guy, and my heart bled for this kid. One day, now this woman also would send him for like a week or two to Miami to some guy named John. That was all I knew who he was.
Oh shit!
Exactly. So you send your kid on a plane from, okay, it's not that far of a distance, not another state, but still alone on a plane to some guy named John. In my eyes, that's how I
God, that's some
that's how
scary
I took
shit.
it. Like, do you? And
Yeah.
I would question her, but I would, after we were sitting at that whole viewing of that movie thing, I started questioning her, and I'm going. And then she said he has to go to Flag. I was like,
Huh.
the fuck is Flag? I had no clue. when I was certain things I was asking her, I had no clue what she was really talking about till I seen it with my own 2 eyes. The amount of little children I saw walking back and
Oh,
forth on Fort Harris in 96 was enough to bring more rage into me,
oh,
to the point where
wow.
I was like, I'm going to effing kill someone. I got to get the hell out of here
Damn.
before I seriously
Wow.
end up in prison because I knew what was going on. When he came back, when that little boy came back, this is what killed me the most. This is what got me really into wanting to help children. Of course I didn't
Yeah, that's
pursue it.
cool.
I went, but now that I'm older and I'm able to really deal with my own things, now I feel like I can hopefully help. So when he came back the one time, this kid ran into my arms and held on to me so tight I had marks on the
Oh my
back of my
God.
neck.
Yeah.
And I think
Wow.
he could sense that I wasn't gonna hurt him or do anything to him.
No, listen, there's a sense. There's a sense.
Yeah.
And
And I didn't learn that
some
until
people
later
some
on.
people call it spiritual. Some
Yeah.
people call it spiritual, and maybe there is a biological thing there. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
right. Right.
I tend to say it's spiritual. But they can
Yeah.
perceive, and you're a person of light. So
Right. And they
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 sense
could
it.
see that I was not going to hurt them. There were other children that she would bring to the house as well, and then she would ask me, "Oh, do you mind babysitting for about an hour or two?" Yeah, sure, no problem. And some of the questions these kids would ask me, now they had the blue shirts, t-shirts with from
Yeah.
what I remember, they had t-shirts on, nothing with a collar, and khaki shorts. And
Oh wow.
that's what the children were wearing. And the questions these
Did they
kids
have
would,
did they have to wear like sneakers or shoes the same kind, or did they have to wear a belt, or
yeah, they all match.
anything?
All the kids match.
Yeah, they all match.
They're
Even
all
their
their outfits
shoes?
match. I don't remember their shoes.
Yeah.
I don't
Just
remember the
curious. Just curious.
shoes, but I remember Sadie had on, that's the little boy's name. He had like these slip-on blue, navy blue, kind of like a Docker shoe,
Yep.
like a
Yeah.
dress shoe. So,
Sure,
but
sure.
yeah, and some of the questions they'd ask me, I was like, you're too young to even think about things like
Oh,
this.
I gotta. Do you feel are you comfortable with saying what they said?
One of the little boys asked me if I wanted to touch him, and I
Oh,
said,
whoa, dude,
and that's what I said. That's
it's
why I
not
was
it's not
flipping.
the kid that it's not the kid that I'm alarmed about. It's the fact that he picked that up somewhere.
Exactly. So now you figure I
Oh,
had been through X
man.
amount of therapy, and now I'm seeing these same actions and questions that I had when I was a child. So I'm relating to these little kids, and I'm turning around. I'm like, no, kid, I don't want to touch you here. This is as far as Chris goes. Chris touches the top of your head, and that is it.
Yeah.
I don't
Yep.
want nothing of you. I don't want you to remember me in any negative way. So I would just play like games with them. Would kick the ball around, chase. Here, come on,
Sure,
you want to
sure.
chase me around the neighborhood? Let's go run around.
Yeah.
You chase me all over the place. I don't care. That is the only game I would ever play with a kid. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it really disturbed me. And then after we were in the Fort Harris. I seen another guy in there that I recognized from the AA and NA meetings at the Serenity
Oh,
Club,
shit.
and I knew
Yeah,
he
yeah.
smoked. So I was like, "Yo, can I grab a
Oh, do they,
cigarette?"
I have
So
an
I grabbed
idea.
this.
Do they
Go
do
ahead.
they target they must target the people in the AAs, huh?
Yes, they do,
Of
because it was
course,
also.
they're prime targets.
Oh yeah, and it wasn't far from the Fort Harris. It was like 5 minute walk, not even 5 minute walking distance. If you came out of the Fort
Wow.
Harris, you cut across the street, you went up one block, made a left. There was a little house like thing right there.
Yeah,
Yep.
Div 6 was preying all over that, like
Oh
vultures.
yeah, they were everywhere in
Yeah.
there. As I seen them in the building that particular day. Now, when I took a cigarette from the guy that I knew, and I took off. I ran because I felt this eerie feeling.
Oh shit. Yeah.
Something was gonna happen, and I took that, I sucked that up, and I was like, I am out of here. I said, let me
That's
get out of
cool.
here. So I ran back over. I mean, when I say you saw smoke coming from my shoes, you saw smoke. That's how fast I
Wow.
ran. I took off. I got so scared and shaken, and I was like, I'm out of here. I ran to the club, went inside, and a good friend of mine was in there that I grew up with as a kid. And he goes, okay, I'm going to New York. He said, I'm driving with a friend. He goes, I can bring you back. I can only get you to, I think he was going upstate New York. So all I had to do was get to New York City, and I could get back to Long Island like that. So when we left, he hid me in his apartment for quite some time. They had to have been looking for me or wanted me for something. Because when we left in the car, I had to hide in the back seat and lay down, and he was throwing shit on top of me. And then when we got out of Florida, he was like, okay, you're safe now. You can get up. I had to lay in the back seat of a car all the way through the state of Florida, from Clearwater straight through. By the time we hit Georgia, I was able to get up.
But they had more gall. They had more Scientology had more, I don't know what you want to call it. Back in the 90s, they didn't have the internet like this.
No.
You know, you can just shine the internet on them and then they melt, you know, they run away.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, it was rough in the 90s. They could get away with a lot of shit. Nowadays, if you were being harassed like that, you could just bust out your phone and show them following you and everything.
Yep. And
for anybody out there, yeah.
The scary thing that had happened when I was back here on Long Island and I'm wandering around my neighborhoods, hanging out with my friends, you know, welcoming me back. I had lost another friend here. So there was a lot of things going on with just us on Long Island. There, you know how many cars I saw with Florida plates? Pinellas County, Florida plates, riding up and down main roads on Long Island. There was one car in particular I recognized from Hacienda Gardens. It was like a black little Nissan car. And on the bottom, this is what confused me, was a gay flag sticker. So it was a rainbow flag. It was thin like this. Back in the day, they had them. You put them at the bottom of your car on your bumper.
Yeah. I know they had the equal sign too. I remember that.
Yeah, the equal sign.
They had the blue background with the yellow equal sign.
Yeah, that's the same thing that the car had too. That car was on Long Island. And the guy driving it, I had seen him like 2 or 3 times, and then I never saw him again. So he was here. I don't know if he escaped. I don't know.
Right.
I did not get involved, and I tried to like stay in my own neighborhood where I knew my uncle was. I had an uncle who, I'm not gonna lie, he was in the mafia, and you didn't fuck with his.
Damn,
you didn't fuck with his family.
Cool.
Yeah. So I don't know.
I'm going to be honest. It's kind of cool, but
yeah, it was all right. It was embarrassing sometimes, to be honest, because everybody's like, "Oh, you can't fuck with her, man. Her uncle will kill you," and I'm like,
"Oh, it's true. It's kind of true."
Yeah. When I was young growing up, it was a little annoying, but it was. But then at this time, that's when I was like, "Wow, that's where my uncle can benefit me. He'll save me." And no one ever really bothered me. I didn't get bothered by anybody, so
that's cool.
Like I was safe, and I stayed here in Suffolk County because Scientology was never here. They didn't own anything until this year. They bought a building in Suffolk County.
Ah, shit, dude. So it's this year they bought it, huh?
Yeah, they bought it in March, and it's in Melville, New York. It is very far away from me, but I'll be there on Thursday. My buddy and I are gonna go over there and do some footage.
Yeah.
We're going to do some footage, and I did get in a chat that I think Helger is her name.
Yep.
I think she's going to be here on Long Island and wants to meet up with me on.
Oh, hell yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, so it works fine for me because Davey sent me all kinds of flyers and posters and stuff like that. So we'll be out there. Definitely.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your help is awesome. Whatever you can do. It's so cool.
And it's crazy.
Really cool.
Like I never knew about anything on YouTube about Scientology until I
Yeah.
Google it just on regular Google. Then next thing you know, one of Mike Rinder's, who I remember,
Yep. Yep.
was up there, and it was saying that he had escaped, and I was just like, what? I was like,
He
him?
had a what?
I was like,
He had a
what?
what?
It said that he
Did they?
escaped Scientology.
Oh, yeah. I remember that, dude. It was like it was a bigger event than when Tom Cruise joined Scientology. I was like, he left. Holy shit.
Yeah.
You know, I thought, Mike Rinder was the shit back then. You know, when I was on staff, I'd see him go on stage, and he was, to me, better than Miscavige.
Yeah, right.
As far as me being a fan of Scientology at the time. But when he escaped, man, that was a big changer. And
that was major.
I know, yeah, there is I definitely respect Rinder in what he's done to expose Scientology.
Right.
You got to give him respect for what he's done. Give him credit for what credit's due.
I
know
did.
some people get upset, but
and when he told his story on Leah's thing that she did, Leah Remini, I felt really bad for him.
Yeah,
I really did. I felt bad because when you're like, when I was there in '96, you don't expect these things to happen to the adults. You know the shit that goes on with kids, but you don't know what really happens to the adults. And they do go through some stuff.
Yep.
But I mean,
Hey, there's another thing too I wanted to mention. I should probably do. I'm going to do a separate video on it. Maybe is just tell me what you think. So my interest is getting people off of staff.
Yeah.
I don't think I have more of a communication line to the Sea Org. I have more of a direct line to the staff because of my experience, but also they can look at the internet.
There you go.
Right. So, shit, where was I going?
That's all good. Take your time.
It'll come back to me. Shit, unless somebody wants to remind me what I was saying.
Right. I have that happen to me too. I'm like, wait, I forgot the hell.
Hey, I learned to live with it, man.
It's all part of being a Gen Xer.
Yep. And neurodivergent. It's cool.
Yep. But yeah, they're when I started following everybody, like I was following a whole bunch of them from the SPTV, and as I'm listening to them, and this is the part that really aggravated me, is I'm typing in, listen, I lived in Hacienda, I know, and they're just skipping right over everything I'm saying. So it kind of alarmed me in a way too. It's like, in my eyes, do you really want everybody else's input on their experiences, which could help shut this shit down?
Yeah.
Or do you just not give a shit? And I find it now with them too. I find it with some of the people now. I'm like, you're telling me to send you an email and you're not even answering my email.
I hear you. You know what? Like the way I've handled it for myself is, you know what? They have their own creation, and if you don't like the channel, let's change the channel, because it's becoming different topics and different styles, and everyone needs to go in their comfortable space. And it's okay to have all these comfortable spaces, but as far as doing more interviews, like you said, and I hear you. I totally hear you. It needs more talking, more interviews.
Whatever it needs to take for us to get this out there and get this and try to formulate the help we need in order to shut it down is the most important too. Like I've been doing the Zoom meetings with the Los Angeles, where you could go, where you could speak. And
that's right.
I've been making it a date. I do it on Friday. I figure that's my best day where I'm more geared up throughout the week. The weekend, I'm kind of like, all right, I'll watch some stuff, But then on a Friday, I feel like I'm more geared up and I got more in me to sit there and speak at these meetings. So on a
That's
Friday,
cool.
so on a
Yeah.
Fridays, I
That,
mean, so and
that's awesome, man.
I'm trying to do what I can on my side, because like I said, I'm far away. Like I mean, it's good. The bus ride to get to go to this org, it's gonna take me about 2.5 hours. So it is quite a hike, but it is in the same county, just not in my town. They won't come to my
Hey,
town. I don't see them coming here because the town I live in is a very rough neighborhood. Like if you don't
sure.
belong here, you don't come here.
Oh no, there's they want people who are very very susceptible,
Yeah. But
very easy to manipulate.
the
And
area where they purchased this property is in a very upper middle class neighborhood.
yep,
It's a
yep.
very upper middle
That's what they
class
want.
neighborhood. Yeah, and there's a lot around there. About 900 feet away is a children's farm where it's like a petting zoo type thing. Now, when I was looking at some of the pictures on Google Maps, it just looks so staged to me.
Yeah.
It looked
Yeah.
very staged. So I was like, I don't understand this. So on Thursday when I go out there, I'm going to be live streaming, but I'm not going to like try to give them any idea that what I'm really filming. So if I'm sitting there in the chat going, "Wow, look at the beautiful colored trees and look, here's the fucking building." You know what I mean? That's
Yeah,
you'll
yeah,
know.
yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm
Yep.
going to try to throw like undercover
That's cool.
hints in there, you
Yeah,
know what I mean?
inconspicuous, and
Right, and
hey,
that's my plan because
that's a
we don't.
strategy,
Yeah,
That's an important strategy.
yeah,
To
that's what
be
my plan is.
incognito, or to be to look without being seen,
Yeah,
to just kind of show what's really there.
right,
It's
right.
always super important.
So it's going to be a very interesting day on Thursday. So I'm psyched about it.
Oh yeah, yeah. Who's gonna film it? Are you gonna film it?
I am. I'll have it. I'll be doing it
Oh,
from my phone. So yeah,
awesome,
I'm gonna live
awesome.
stream from my phone on YouTube and get the message out there as much as we possibly can. Because we gotta. They listen. If the adults want to do shit in this cult, go right ahead. Don't let the
No
children.
shit. That's what I'm saying. That's what
Get the
I'm saying.
children out.
I've come exactly. Yeah, exactly. Get the
It's not
abuses
fair.
out.
It's not fair.
Stop the abuse, the actual abuse.
Yeah.
Per the law.
Well, that's their way of controlling you is through sexual abuse.
Unbelievable, man.
That's how
Now,
they were
when I
trying
was
to
on
control me
staff,
when I was a child.
oh my God.
No.
When I was on staff,
later
I
explained to me too. It was explained to me later on. Like when I came back, I started my therapy stuff about 4 or 5 years ago. So I wasn't even involved in anything of Scientology when I first started my therapy. And I've even had therapists turn around to me and go, "Yo, you need to write a book because this shit is
you know what? I was just gonna tell you that. As like the list in my head.
Mm-hmm.
If keep it simple. Look, if you wrote a book on all the sexual malpractice, I don't know what you're gonna say. Why do you call it?
Right.
Sexual abuse essay. And just put the facts there, what you saw, and say, look, today you can self-publish real easy. And I'm planning on doing that too. You can go to Amazon and they'll put you on Amazon books just like that. Just like that. You can write your own book and self-publish through Amazon. And it doesn't cost you much at all. And it's all print on demand. So you don't have to buy into stock or anything. So anybody can go buy that book, boom, and they print it and it's sent it to them.
Wow.
And there's people who like to read independent writers or like, what? Hold on. Sorry. I had a call. Okay. So, it's pretty intense, man. You could easily, when I say easily, I mean, you have some material, some real hard truth.
Yeah.
That you can write a book and say, this is what I witnessed. And be willing to talk about it. Be like, yep, this is my book. It's the truth.
Yeah.
Anybody can watch it.
Wow.
Anybody can read it.
I'm gonna look into that. I definitely will, because
Yeah,
like
yeah.
anything to get the message out there, man. I'll do anything at this point, because
Dude, that would be cool.
it eats
Yeah.
away at me so bad that there's literally physically nothing I can do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
I can't just
Well,
bust through their doors and free all the kids like I would really want to do. You know?
right. You see, what I really wanted. Oh yeah, so Corn was helping me out here. He says that I was talking about getting people off staff, and um, that to me is the vital part. It'll crush the Sea Org.
Yeah.
The Sea Org won't have any. They won't have the recruits.
Right.
You know, they'll have less. That's where they get them from. The staff, they hijack them. They freaking take the good staff members.
Yeah.
I've seen it too many times. Even the young kids, you know, and
Yeah, it's sad.
so how can we get that to happen? How do we get them to get the truth? So how do we address those staff members? I want to make videos, and like I've done in the past few videos, like trying to address staff members.
Right.
Because they're out there. They've got to be.
Yeah.
There's plenty of staff members out there who don't have any fear of getting audited because they haven't gotten auditing for years. There's no like, oh, I don't want to do this because I'm going to get found out. There's some people out there who their orgs, they don't get any auditing, so they don't have the fear of the meter. But if you're getting regular auditing, or you do, you can be nervous about it because it's going to be found out.
Right.
At least I don't know how to manipulate the meter. Some people do.
Right.
But
my
to
thing
me,
is,
the meter works. It will find shit.
Yeah. Right. My thing is too. A lot of these, like Render and all them, I think they have a lot of fear that if this does go down, they're going to end up having to suffer some consequences for the crimes they committed.
Yeah, of course. But you know what, man? It's just an opinion because I'm not living his life. I don't know who his family is. I don't know who he's connected to, right? But my point is this: yeah, it's a good time to own up to it. Like now's the time.
Yeah, definitely. And I know that's
just own up to it. You know,
it makes me wonder how many crimes you really do. They really are covering up.
Hey, I get stuff.
The stuff about what happens to children is out there now. Thank goodness.
Hey, I'll tell you an idea that I'm just saying it as an idea. Okay, I'm not saying it as a fact or anything like that because it's kind of a big statement. But how many minors did Mike Rinder enjoy over his career? Because he dealt with so many young Sea Org, he dealt with all that, and he covered it up. Mm-hmm. Did he participate in it?
Exactly. And that's something he'll never
it's a hard question. It's a hard thought, but it's something I just, I'm not accusing him of that.
Right.
But it's something that makes me go, he's got a dark past. We know he does.
Right.
And look, let's face it too. Yeah. He's like the ex-mafia guy, guy's got a lot of stature, a lot of knowledge. We might not like him at times because of, him withholding data or what have you.
Right.
I get all that, and I agree with the people who are angry about it. But it kind of is a segue.
There's a thing that we call in when I was in recovery from, because I became a very bad heroin addict when I'd come back to Long Island. I was in like my mid 30s, and I had gone through a whole crap load of other stuff, aside from what I had experienced as a kid. So I what do you call it? I started getting heavily into drugs, and when there's a thing that's called dropping your guilt is what we were taught, and it'll help you get over the drugs and the alcohol. So whatever guilty things you've done in life, you got to drop it, and let it go and do this and figure out. You know, there was so many different formats in the rehabs we have here on Long Island to actually it helps. You know, it helps not only to keep you clean off of the drugs, but it also helps you in your life.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I apologize. Just one moment, please.
Sure.
Right. You still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, just checking. I have to have a conversation. I apologize.
It's okay.
I know she took Evelyn to the dentist at
Yeah.
10:30.
She should be answering her phone, but she's not. I'm going to wrap this up shortly. I'll wrap it up, and then I'll go pick him up. If you don't mind texting him. Okay. Thanks. Got to pick up my stepson.
Oh, okay. There you go.
So, yeah, let's give it a few more minutes.
Sure.
But I want to ask you, just for fun, well, actually, not this question. This one here is a little bit more serious. Like, do you have any ideas or strategies you would like to share with the community, you know, about stopping the cult's abuses or whatever? Do you have any personal, like, strategies that you would like to share with the community as an idea?
Okay.
Just wondering, you know.
Like,
Just wondering, like,
going the legal
you
route?
actually already talked about that. To be honest, you already talked about it. Like, you talked about what you're doing, which is
Right.
awesome. But do you have
Yeah,
any
these
ideas for
meetings-
the community?
These meetings are very important. These Zoom meetings that we've been doing with the LA, we've been doing them with Chicago, we've been doing them with Utah. I'm trying to figure it out here on the island as well, because you have to do a link to a Zoom meeting, so you got to get registered through there, and I haven't quite figured it out. As far as on the island, on Long Island, we there's a town meeting. Now, the only problem with a town meeting is I don't live physically in that town, so I could get shut down.
Okay.
They may not want to hear from me. I'm looking more for a county meeting. Do I have to write to my
you know what'd be interesting though? You know what'd be interesting? Just a thought. You know, the ones that shut you down, having it on video that they shut you down. You know, that's kind of like.
Yeah. So I'm gonna work on that. These meetings that they're having on the island aren't until they're not until next month. So by that time, I should have at least something figured out. And as I was looking at their agendas and their meetings and such, it looks like 90% of them have been canceled. So it's like, you know, I don't know exactly what route to go through. Mona, Fat Grammy.
So yeah, what you're doing is awesome. Like, I think what you're doing is really good. I'm trying to say, like, do you have an idea that you think the community could do that you might not be able to do?
Okay.
Like, for example, like, oh boy, I got myself in this one. So, like, making promo of your own design and getting it out there, or doing more interviews with other people.
Right.
Whatever you think. Do you have any personal ideas? You're like, hey, I think this would be a good strategy for the community.
Mostly I agree as far as doing more interviews with people and really starting to get that message out there to some of like the channels that have thousands and thousands and thousands of subscribers. So at least they'll listen, you know, and then to get that word, get it out there a lot further. I mean, we are getting somewhere though. I mean, you got people winning cases against Scientology right now, which is phenomenal. That's major right there in my eyes.
Oh, it's major.
As these court cases are getting dismissed, charges are being dropped, you know, things are really starting, in my eyes, to kind of get the ball on the roll, and that's basically what we need to do. But we need to, I feel, a legal route.
Hey, one moment, please.
Sure.
Just say, okay, we have to wait for her. Matt's in an interview.
I told you you had a talk with
Okay, he's just being impatient. But his mother does that to him. So,
I told him that you were going after you wrap it up,
Okay.
and he said his mother mentioned about picking them up.
Yeah.
He doesn't know.
Okay.
So
Alrighty.
you finish what you're doing, and I'm gonna go give Dad his lunch.
Nice. You are? No. 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 I need good. I'll call him. I'll call him on it. Hey, thanks. All right. So I want to wrap this up.
Okay.
And let me have a fun question. Here's a fun question. What was your favorite toy in the 80s?
My favorite toy in the 80s? What was my favorite toy?
Or cartoon?
Or cartoon?
Yeah, what was your favorite?
What did I play with when I was a kid? Oh,
I like.
you remember those little green army men?
Oh, hell yeah.
I must have
Yep.
had thousands of them. And then
Oh, that's cool.
we would break off pieces of them and take like
Yep.
model paint and paint blood on them. Red.
That's funny.
We had little all kinds of little
That was awesome.
yeah, we used to stuff them into these tanks that we had. Like you had to break the bottom piece off and put them inside there. And so we used to play with all kinds of little crazy little toys right there in Hacienda, right at the playground.
That's cool. Yeah, I used to wrap mine like in firecrackers, and like blow them up and stuff. And it was fun. Yep.
We spent a lot of time outside on our bicycles too. That was a lot of fun.
Yep. Oh, hell yeah. The BMX, whatever you're going to have.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That was awesome. Good time.
It was awesome. 80s was the
Well,
best.
I do have to go.
All right.
I do. Yeah, it was awesome, man. It's fun. And if you want to talk again, just give me an email. If you have something on your mind, and vice versa.
Yes.
Awesome.
Absolutely. Feel free to reach out anytime.
That's so cool. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.